Nowadays, there are a lot of hip-hop and rap songs with hidden features that can generate a lot of excitement and curiosity when listening to a new record. However, there are a few hidden features that have gone relatively unnoticed for quite some time. A lot of these features are just small contributions that may not be explicitly revealed for a variety of reasons. So join me today as we look into rap songs with hidden features. Let's get into it. So in this video, I have a list of a handful of songs with hidden features that I was unaware of until they were later brought to my attention. A lot of these features are pretty minuscule and they may just be ad-libs or background vocals. Therefore, they can be pretty tough to notice. And before you comment, "Oh, I already knew all of these and you're dumb because you didn't." Good for you, but I do not care. Also, this video is inspired by Peyton Hacker on TikTok, so let's jump into it. Jit on Self-Care by Mac Miller. This is honestly the one that inspired this video because I've heard this song probably hundreds of times and I've never noticed Jit's vocals. Jit can be heard throughout the entirety of the first part of the song doing ad-libs. At times they're super hard to hear, and when they're more noticeable, I guess I just subconsciously assumed it was Mac's vocals but pitched up because he does do that quite often, but it turns out it was just Jit. He also does the "We Gon' Be Alright" in the pre-chorus, and I guess I just assumed that was Mac because he sings in falsetto pretty often. Mac and Jit actually had a pretty cool friendship and they worked together a little bit. Mac produced Strawberries off of Jit's album DiCaprio 2, obviously under the Larry Fisherman alias, and it seemed like they were pretty cool. So yes, Jit was secretly on one of Mac Miller's biggest songs, Lil Uzi Vert on Igor's Theme by Tyler, the Creator. For the longest time, I had no idea Uzi was on this song, and then I started seeing people talk about it on Twitter, so I was like, Uzi probably just has some background vocals, whatever. I never really paid any attention to it, but when I realized how prominent Uzi's vocals were in the song, I was actually blown away. So Uzi's doing all the whats throughout the song and a lot of the ad-libs, and I had just assumed previously that was either a sample or maybe Tyler with a lot of vocal effects, but it turns out it was just Uzi with a bunch of vocal effects. He's also the one who's singing on the chorus, which was absolutely crazy for me to find out, because I guess when I think about the chorus with Uzi in mind, I can kind of hear it, but it's just so weird hearing Uzi sing like that in some sort of falsetto weird vocal inflection, because we've never heard that from Uzi before, at least as far as I'm aware. Solange can also be found on the song doing vocals in the second chorus. If nothing else, this song can really make you appreciate how Tyler can just bring together a bunch of people that don't seem like they would fit on a song together and make a super dope song. Young Lean on Godspeed by Frank Ocean. I don't listen to a ton of Frank Ocean, but I have heard this song a handful of times and I was super surprised to hear about this extremely unlikely collaboration. But as it turns out, Young Lean can be heard saying "boys for sex" at about the 58-second mark. It has a bunch of vocal effects and it's kind of like a choppy ad-lib type of vocal, so I guess it's not super obvious that it's him. Also, it's only for like a couple seconds of the song, so it makes sense he wasn't really listed as a feature. Young Lean says Frank Ocean first reached out to him to record music together and they ate some Indian food, watched a movie, and made some music together. I'm not sure if that's exactly when this song was made though, but regardless, it's a crazy collaboration. Young Thug, Black Boy JB, 21 Savage, Quavo, and Slim Jimmy on This Is America by Childish Gambino. This song has a ton of hidden features, a lot of which I hardly noticed. To be fair to myself, I probably only listened to this song maybe like once all the way through. I wasn't really a big fan of it, but I had no idea that there were 5 total featured artists. Young Thug is in the song and he's the most notable, doing a bunch of ad-libs and also the outro. 21 Savage also has a very recognizable voice, of course, on his ad-libs. Black Boy JB and Quavo are a little bit harder to catch, although their voices again are pretty recognizable if you've heard any of their songs. They have a lot of their classic ad-libs on this track, but the one that I never caught was Slim Jimmy. He's definitely the hardest to notice on the ad-libs, especially since his and Quavo's kind of sound similar. If you're unaware, Slim Jimmy is the other half of Ray Shremmerd along with Sway Lee, and I'm kind of surprised that Slim Jim was on this song because Sway Lee gets a lot of the limelight, so I find it interesting that Slim Jim was the one who was chosen for this song. It's really interesting how many artists Childish Gambino recruited just to do ad-libs for this song, but one genius annotator hypothesizes that there is a message behind it, as each featured artist is a Black American, and some like 21 Savage and Quavo have contributed to the fight against police brutality either in songs or in interviews. They may be looking a little bit too far into it, I'm not sure, but again, I wasn't the biggest fan of this song, so I really had no idea that there were this many artists featured. Billie Eilish on Sirens by Denzel Curry. On this song, Billie Eilish can be heard singing the hook along with Denzel Curry. It's a super catchy hook that I've enjoyed for quite some time, but I never knew that it was Billie Eilish backing Denzel on the vocals. Again, I don't know too much Billie Eilish music, so I'm not really familiar with her voice, but it's definitely a cool collaboration. Denzel says that he originally wrote the hook and was singing it all by himself, but somehow Billie must have heard it and she also re-sung it for him, which I definitely think is a nice touch, although on a side note, I would totally love to hear some more Denzel singing. He doesn't do it too often, but when he does, it's pretty good. Apparently, Billie went against her label's wishes to be on the song, which may be why she's not credited. Billie has previously talked about about how she was a pretty big Denzel fan. She even had Denzel Curry posters in her room, and it seems like they became friends pretty quickly. In 2019, Denzel even supported her on her tour. It would definitely be pretty cool to hear some more collabs from them in the future. Andre 3000 on 30 Hours by Kanye West. This was honestly one of my favorite songs off of The Life of Pablo, and I can't believe I never noticed this. Probably because I usually start to tune out for the outro because it is pretty long, but Kanye does say 3 stacks, can you help me out, which is referring to Andre 3000, and Andre 3000 comes in and starts singing 30 Hours throughout the outro.
3 stacks, can you help me out? 30 hours.
Genius annotators speculate that the outro to this track was a last-minute decision, especially since the original version of the song didn't have this outro, but instead it just had a long, extended instrumental. I never really put too much thought into who I thought was singing it. I guess I just kind of enjoyed it and maybe subconsciously thought it was a sample, but it's pretty cool to find out that it was actually Andre 3000. Snoop Dogg, Sid, and Thundercat on What's the Use by Mac Miller. For our final track, we have another song off of Swimming, so the video has finally come full circle. But again, these are some features that I'm surprised I missed as I've listened to this song a lot of times. I'm especially surprised that I never noticed Snoop Dogg's vocals on this song, but he can be heard backing Mac's vocals when saying juice during the chorus, and then he also ad-libs the phrase what's the use in the final chorus. Finally, he says, you can love it, it just freaks me out at the end of the song. I never noticed the you can love it part because it's a bit quieter, but I did hear the it just freaks me out part, and I guess I assumed it was Mac singing in falsetto. Apparently, Snoop sent a longer outro to Mac where he was just talking, but Mac didn't use it, although he said he kept it and liked to listen to it sometimes because he thought it was funny. I guess Snoop Dogg was being a little silly. Thundercat is also featured on the song, and it's pretty obvious that he's the one playing the bass, but I never realized that he was the one who was singing on the bridge between the second verse and the third chorus, but after realizing it, it makes a lot more sense. Also, Sid from Odd Future and the Internet did some background vocals on this song. I've heard the vocals, obviously they're pretty noticeable, but I never realized it was her, so it's pretty cool to see all these artists come together to make music. It's cool to see all these smaller contributions and these unlikely collaborations take place, especially when you've heard a song so many times and you never realized it. Let me know in the comments below which of these surprised you the most, or which of these you already knew, or maybe leave another cool hidden feature that's hard to notice too, so that we can check those out as well. If you like this video, you might like my video about rap songs that have been used in court and just how they were used for or against the rappers that made them. Other than that though, thank you guys for watching. This has been Matty Balls, and I'll see you guys next time.